Hi everybody, it's Janet and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing how to make some flowers using the Foamiran foam. I have always wanted to try this technique. I love flowers, and the Foamiran, I'm not really sure exactly how that's said. I'm going to say Foamiran from now on. Anyway, the Foamiran is a special kind of foam. I've cut some petals out already from a die, and it's very soft. And you can stretch it and heat it and it'll hold shapes, and people have made just beautiful flowers. Now most of the people that I see using Foamiran are actually from Europe. The foam itself apparently comes from Iran. That's why it's called Foamiran. It's foam with Iran at the end. I don't know, maybe it's hard for American retailers to get that because of it being from Iran. But in any case, I found a U.S. dealer of it. There are a few, but someone recommended to me a company called Whimsy Stamps, and I think many of you have heard of Whimsy Stamps before, but I didn't realize they carried Foamiran. So I ordered some pieces from them, and I thought I would try it out. Now I've watched maybe an hour, hour and a half of different videos of people making roses with Foamiran. So I thought I would give it a try, and I'm not going to, I haven't practiced this or anything, so I thought I would be a good demo of how hard or easy it might be for a beginner to start with it. I'm sure this flower is not going to be perfect because it is my very first, and it will probably take some practice, as most things do. So we'll see what happens here, but at least we'll get a feel for how hard or easy it might be. Now for my flower, the cuts come from this Cottage Cuts 3D flower number 2. This is something I had in my stash. I really don't have flower dies. There's only 2 of them that I have, and this is the one closest to Rose, and it looks like this. I'm going to use the biggest one and the smallest one in this set to make my rose, or at least attempt to. And when you cut it out, this is what it looked like. And for now, the medium and the stamen I'm just setting aside. I don't know. I imagine I'll be able to use for sure the metal one on something, but not so much the stamen. I don't know if I'll ever use that, but I kept it for now. Then you'll need a nice thick sponge. This is a kitchen sponge that hasn't been used, straight out of the package. It doesn't have any treatment to it, no soap or anything in it. But you'll want, I think, from what I've seen, something that has a lot of give in it, so I've got that. I also have a piece of tin foil, which I'm going to use to shape the bud of the flower. It's going to be the center of the flower. Then I also have a shaping tool. This is made for paper flower making, but this tool I thought probably I could use to shape the flower. The other thing we're going to try to use is my heat gun. You can use a heat gun or an iron. I didn't want to drag my iron up here. I was too lazy to do that, and I have my heat tool right here, and I saw someone use the heat tool, so I'm going to try that also. We'll see how it goes. Alright, so let's get started. Oh, the last thing is a glue gun. And I've got one with a detailed tip on it. I think that is probably the best type to have, because you're going to want to very much control how much glue goes on at a time. And I have a bigger glue gun with the fat sticks, but it is very imprecise. So it didn't interest me. I figured it would become a big mess. So let's try this. First, I'm starting with a piece of foil for my center, and I believe it's 3 inches by 3 inches. Yes, 3 by 3. So let's see if that works for my flower. You roll it into a ball first, very loosely, not tight at all. And then you start forming your tip. And you want your kind of this teardrop shape not to be any taller than your smallest flower. This petal, sorry, gee, couldn't get that out. So right now this is a lot taller than I need. So I'm going to make it tighter and push down on that. Continue to make it tighter and hopefully a little squatter. And then let's see. Nope, it's still... No, I think it is okay now. So you want it to just be as tall or slightly taller, but not a lot taller. So I think I'm okay. We'll see. So what I have cut here are 4 of the big petals and 2 of the small petals, and I also ran it through my Cuttlebug after I cut them out, and I smashed them. I put them between my metal plate and my main platform, and then the C and the B, and then I stuck a piece of cardstock in there too, and I flattened them a bit. That's recommended that you do because they'll be softer to work with. So they do look a little different than before I squashed them. Let me show you one that I've cut that didn't get squashed. Not sure you can tell the difference, but this does feel thicker than this does, just slightly, and the texture has changed a little too. So we'll see how this goes. Alright, so I'm going to start by putting a little bit of glue on the center of this flower. I put a lot of glue on that flower, so it's probably way more than I want or need. But I want to get it in the center. And this is not one I'm going to try to shape, so at least not as a flower petal. So I'm not going to run it through the heat tool. Alright, so then I'm going to want to apply glue on one side of this petal and squeeze it up there. It looks like I probably need to put some here too. I'm going to stretch a little bit, see if I can get it to the top. Then I'm going to go to the opposite side and let's see if I can cover that tip up. Almost. So I'm running into my first problem. I should have made this tip a little bit more pointed maybe. So I'm going to go see if I can get this to cover the whole thing. So that we can't see that silver anymore. I can see a little bit of it, but maybe by the time I get the other petals, it'll be okay. Let's see. Even if I do see the silver, I'm not going to start over, because again, this is a practice flower, so you know, things are not going to be perfect. I'm already resigned to that fact. And I can still see that silver, but maybe, I mean, I have an idea. We'll see when I'm done here with these other 2 petals. So I'm just going to keep going. Good. Now my silver is pretty much gone. So yay. I keep tipping over my glue gun. Sorry about that. Okay, now ideally I don't think you want your glue to seep through because you'll see that, and of course flowers don't have glue sticking out, do they? Do a small amount of glue there. Alright, it's not too bad. I'll live with it, I guess. I got some glue showing here. Possibly I can pull it out a little. Okay. So there's my first step, which is this bud. Now I'm going to put on my next one, and this one we are going to heat and then try to shape a little bit. So let's get this on, and I may turn off the sound on the video while I'm doing this so it doesn't drive you nuts. So let's see what happens. I'm going to let it warm up first. Okay, so it starts to curl a little bit already when it's heated, which is kind of helpful, right? So I'm going to fold all this over like that, and then we're going to roll it. Roll the tip up, and then roll it in the fingertips. Maybe roll it down here too, a little bit. The people I see do this will roll this for a good bit of time and then carefully undo everything, trying not to flatten out the petal. Alright, that's what it looks like. Now I'm going to try to stretch out the petal a bit to look again more natural. I'm going to try this with it. Now, a lot of the videos show a round tool being used, and I'm sure that would work a whole lot better than what I'm doing here. But I don't have anything like that, so I got to make do. I'm hoping by pushing way down and moving across it will give it that kind of concave petal shape. Yeah, it's sort of okay. I definitely, if I'm going to be serious about this, I need to get one of those, or a set of the balls. There's silver balls on a stylus of different shapes. And then what I've seen people do is they'll put the ball in and stretch it. So I'm going to try also a finger method without hopefully ripping or tearing off a petal. I'm trying to be fairly gentle. So like I said, I've always wanted to try these foam flowers, and I have a wedding. My neighbor's daughter's getting married in October, and I want to make a very special card for it. She started her freshman year of high school when they moved here, and now she's graduated, she's a nurse, and she's getting married. So I've seen her grow up, and I want to give her something nice, really something special in terms of a card. Over the years, of course, I've given them cards, and they've really appreciated it. So again, I thought these flowers would really be cool if I could figure out how to make them. So now the next step, from what I see, is that you would turn, some people turn the edges over, and let me try that. They roll them a little bit. Not just, it's really hard, I'm finding. At least this edge is. The idea is not to just fold it over and pinch it, but actually roll it. And so that's not rolling. Maybe try a different one. It's so thin now. You know what, I'm going to give up on that technique. I'm just going to try to shape it again to get that concave petal, and I'm going to forget about the edges for now. Maybe that's a more advanced technique. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to put some glue at the base of that and stick my formed bud in the center. And you'll want to try, I just kind of got lucky here, but because I forgot, but you want to try to place your petals so that it isn't sitting on top of another petal. So if you can, you want to get them in between an edge. So I did okay with that, considering I wasn't remembering it. We'll try to do better on the next one. Ugh, gosh, this is way too much glue, I think. Just came out too fast. And that's just going to cause more troubles. Well, it's cooling off. Maybe it won't squish all over and be ugly, so let's see. Yeah, it's not too bad. I really have to be careful not to get too much glue out. Just a dab will really do it, it appears to me. And so I'm putting it pretty, about 3/4 of the way up the petal. And I want it to overlap. And then I can fold it out just a little bit. I will shape the whole thing really when I'm done, but just to get a kind of an idea. Again, a little bit of dab at the base. Lift it up, make sure it's going over the edge of the previous petal that I glued down. Ooh, gotta get that over the top of that one. There we go. So overall, this isn't going too bad so far. I really dislike working with a glue gun. I hate it, really. But with this technique, you really do need to use it. It doesn't seem to stick with glue. I did try that. I didn't see anybody use glue, but you know, I was like, maybe I can get away with glue. I hate glue guns. But it didn't work. So it appears to me that glue guns are the best way to work with these foam flowers. Okay, that's not too bad. So far so good. I can see a tiny bit of glue out here, which I wish wasn't showing, but hopefully somebody else wouldn't notice it as much as I will. Okay, now we're going to try to do the bigger petals. And I've got 4 of these. Remember, I had 2 of the smallest ones, and now I've got 4 of the biggest ones. And we'll see if I need all 4. I'm thinking I probably will. So once again, I'm going to hold this down and use my heat gun, and I'll shut off the sound again for you. All right. Notice that kind of sticks together when I heat it up. Okay, so again, that's kind of nice. It already has a bit of a concave in there for me. All right, but then again, we will fold it in half. Oop, and roll the edges up and really squish that together. Roll, 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 roll. Now, people said that you can actually get blisters doing this, and I believe it because it gets kind of warm on your finger when you're rolling. I suppose it's the foam. Dang, strings. I hate the strings. Oh, I hate them, hate them, hate them. Okay. Let's carefully roll this one out. And then I'm going to push this down like I did before to hopefully get it even more concaved. And shaped. Try stretching it a little bit. It really does stretch pretty well. I'm really afraid of tearing it though, so I'm being very, very gentle. I'm also trying not to touch the tip of the petal much, if at all. And when you stretch this out, it really starts to feel and look like real rose petals. It's kind of weird. And it's super soft. You know, I have another thing I thought I'd try. It's a small 1/4 teaspoon. I wish I had the 1/8 of a teaspoon, but I don't know where in the heck it is when I was looking for it in the kitchen. Between kids and husband, God knows where it is. I'm usually fairly neat with things, but the kid and the husband will walk off with a lot of stuff. All right, so here we are. Let's try a little bit in the center here. I really love how this petal section it looks. It's really pretty and very realistic. We'll let that cool down a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to start by applying just a tiny bit of glue at the base, or at least I hope to. Here we go. That one's stuck together, I guess again from the heat of the glue gun. It's kind of interesting that it sort of melts a little bit. I'm going to let that cool down just a hair so it doesn't squish too badly, because I definitely don't want any glue showing now. Same thing there, I got more than I wanted, so I'm just going to let it cool for a few seconds and then push it up. And again, that'll stop it from smearing out too much or squishing out too much, not smearing. So you can start to see as I fool around with the petals how it's going to fold out and begin to look like a beautiful rose. Alright, so I've got 2 more of these to go. I'm going to start with a dab down here. And again, trying to make sure, darn it, that I've got a seam on a main petal so that it's staggered. Ugh, you guys. Shoot. I forgot to do all the shaping and everything. So let's see if I can get this off without completely destroying it. Well, I got it off with 1 petal missing. That's not too terrible. But I do have another one. Now I have seen people tear it off and use it anyway. It's just a 4 petal instead of a 5, but I want to do a good real test here, so I'm going to put that aside. Alright, time again to heat this up. Okie dokie, let's put the next row on. Okay, again, I'm looking for a seam and I want to place that where an actual full petal is. I'm going to let that again, so many glue strands. Let me get those off. Okay. You know, and of course I'm saying there's so many glue strands. It's really not that much, but to me, I hate them so badly. It feels like they're covering me. I'm putting a tiny bit on here and pushing that up. Because now, of course, we want them to start folding out even more. So really just enough to tack it is exactly all you'll want, I think. I'm going to let that cool. Got a little more than I cared to. I guess I find it hard, and again, I don't use my glue gun much, but I find it a little bit tricky to control the glue the way that it should be controlled. Now, this is a fine tip glue gun. It's supposed to be for precision glue placement, and yeah, it's pretty good, especially compared to my other one, which is bigger. But it's not still as precise as I'd like. Again, practice, I guess. So I'm holding that up tight. You can start fanning that out just to get a feel for what it's going to look like. It's too bad that I have that glue showing there. Maybe what I can do is take one of these petals and push it over the top of that to hide that. Because other than that, I am super thrilled with this rose so far. Wow, that is cool. Okay, so I'm going to do one more row. One last time, we'll put some glue here. Find a split and put it so that a whole petal is located at a split, like that. Got some glue on my fingers that seeped through. These have a hole in them, and they're not very thick at the base, so some glue seeps out. And I think for this last layer, I am I'm going to put maybe just a dab on a few of these and not all of them, and very little, just tiny dot at the base. Let's go opposite corner, or opposite petal. Get down close to that. Get a tiny little bit. Press it up. And that way for sure we know that the last bunch of petals aren't going to come apart either. So it's like I got a bit of glue. There we go. Okay, before I start laying these out and everything, I want to see if I can cover up this bit of glue that I got in here. I'm going to pull it and stretch it. Okay, that seemed to work. Now I'm going to put a dab of glue, pull and stretch this up over the top of it. Yes, there we go. That worked pretty well. Now, I see a few glue strings. I'm going to try to pull them out wherever I see them. It's not too bad, but you can see a few of them. Alright, so I'm going to start pulling and shaping these bottom layers out. I feel like I need to put a little glue on this one to get it where I want it to be. Which is about right there. Okay, let's set it down. Alright guys, I think that's about it. Okay, let me put this on a piece of cardstock for you so you can see it a lot better. Here it is up close, and it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. It's not perfect, but for my first attempt, not too shabby. Alright, this is going to complete part 1. I'm going to come back in part 2 and show you putting on the leaves and using it on a card. So see you soon. Well, thanks again for being here with me today. I really appreciate it. I've put some additional videos up here on the page that I think you might like. I hope you'll take a minute and watch another one. If you liked my video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and that way you'll get a notice every time I publish a new video. Thanks again, and keep crafting. Bye.